Actually, now we are moving into completely different area. This is now, as I told you before, there were a lot of scientific miracles that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam he told us, he gave that information. Most of it people didn't really realize, but now as we are making a lot of progress in science, we now, alhamdulillah, understand all of these facts. So there are the rest 9, all of these are scientific miracles. And let's see what exactly he said about some of these. Number 92 is, he said about the number of bones and joints. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that human being has 360 joints for which each of which he must give alms or sadaqah. So at that time, people didn't know how many joints we had. Everybody knew we had bones and there are joints, but nobody was able to count. In fact, as years passed by, people started counting it, and until recent time, it was about, like few years ago, it was 350, and then they discovered recently some 10 more joints somewhere near the ear or somewhere, and it comes around to be 360. And the scholars, the scientists, really broke it down into individual part of the body, how much it is, and I have listed it here, and it comes down to be around 360. So subhanallah, how does Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam know that it is 360 exactly? That's amazing. And if you but the point here of the hadith was something else. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is basically saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us, and in this body actually that we have, it belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He gave us to be used and do our work. But this body, we are supposed to be very grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And all these bones, joints, if any of these joints are really fractured or is not functioning properly, we will not be able to do our jobs properly. So we have to be we have to be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Otherwise, it is a sign of arrogance if you don't do that. So it is required on us. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is saying that since we have 360 joints in our body, we have to give 360 sadaqah. So Sahaba were very concerned because some of them were poor, and they were like, Ya Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, how are we going to do 360 sadaqah? So Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that it's not necessarily by money. If you say subhanallah, that is sadaqah. That if you say astaghfirullah, alhamdulillah, subhanallah, these counts as sadaqah. And also, even if you remove a stone or a piece of bone, whatever, that can harm people, if you remove it, that is sadaqah. And if you even do any kind of good act, like in the masjid or wherever, if you find any dirt or do maruf and munkar, all these counts as sadaqah. So that's the point that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is saying. And if you don't meet this 360 count every day, you're being ungrateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are not meeting that required standard, what's expected from you. And Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that if you do this, you will walk that day having removed yourself from hell. So that is what. So the scientific miracle here is that how did he know it was 360? So that now we realize.